just beat Withering Waves Chapter 6. So I'm going to give you my first initial thoughts and feelings about the game, and just how, if I'm going to continue it and just what I'm thinking. So just let you know I'm doing this live right now. So Melia's there. It's raining like a motherfucker outside, so if you hear that in the recording. But I really, really, really enjoyed the game. I gotta say the beginning is very rough. Like the first hour or two is like the most, if you were to take the most Genshin Yap session and you were to just put it at the very beginning of the game, it was very, very rough. And it didn't help that I feel like the voice direction was lacking a little bit. I think that probably has to do a lot with several factors. Number one, I believe that they got a British studio to do the voices, and the problem with that is not that the English voice actors are great. I love Ben Starr, I love Xenoblade voice actors, and I love Final Fantasy 14 voice actors. Actually, a lot of them were in this game, but the problem is they made them do American accents with like the normal anime tones and dulcet tones and stuff, and it just did not, on top of bad voice direction, it just did not deliver for a lot of characters. Like, I gotta say, a lot of the male characters had good direction, I gotta say, especially the Jinyan, I believe, I think I'm saying his name right, the limited 5-star at the current time, the guy with the green hair, the one that everybody says rips out Zhao, even though it looks nothing like Zhao. He's great. The any of the other male characters, they're great. It's the female characters, which is a lot of, that it feels like they're struggling so hard. Like, there's so many characters where their native accents just come out, no matter how hard you try. And I'm like, please, they are trying so hard to do a normal accent, American accent, and they're just, you could just hear, like, I swear I heard so many Scottish and Welsh accents on top of the usual British accents. I'm like, oh Lord, this is, it's a little rough. It's a little rough when it comes to that. And it probably doesn't help that the story doesn't really pick up until maybe the 4th chapter. Maybe it starts in the 3rd chapter, but really into the 4th chapter. And I feel like the 1st chapter was the longest chapter, so it was a little painful. I really feel like this game has potential when it comes to the story and voice acting, but that was definitely it was definitely not my cup of tea, for sure, especially at the very beginning. I feel like everything kind of improved in the chapter 4 and onward. Didn't really mean that it was still where I want it to be. Like, I'm saying the voice acting and direction was good for some characters, but there's some characters where it was just awful. As for the graphics and just the stability of the game, because normally I don't talk about this because I don't really give a F, but God, why does this game run almost just as bad as Breath of the Wild on the Switch? I mean, the original Breath of the Wild, not Tears of the Kingdom. This game almost runs just as bad as original Breath of the Wild. And I think it's because, so I've heard some rumors that it might be because they had like a Unity specialist and they fired them, or they laid them off right like 2 months before the game came out. So they added stuff to the game, and of course when you add stuff to a game, there's a chance you can break it, right? So I don't know what they're going on about. I heard sometimes Koro Games has a weird internal stuff going on sometimes. I hope that's not too bad. I hope it's just leaders are just a little goofy. Hopefully it's not like they're like, oh, they use people and then they get rid of them and then it causes problems. But I gotta say, this game runs like, you probably see it on screen right now, the game kind of runs like absolute doggy doo-doo sometimes. And I have this on medium for streaming sake, because I'm streaming right now, right? So on even on my computer can normally run games like this. Like, I run a lot of games like this all the time, but God, this is definitely not what I'm looking for when it comes to like a game of this caliber. If you're just going to even be in the same space as Genshin, it's just like it's definitely a little embarrassing. It's like, but the game looks great. Like, it looks great when it works. It just doesn't work as much as it should. And I had many times where when I load up the game, loading up the game, when, like, just say you're playing Genshin or Honkai Star Rail, where it gets to the point where the train's going, or when you get to the doors of the doors before you go into Genshin Impact. The loading for this game takes like a minute to 5 minutes for this game, and that's including, it doesn't matter what happened. And so like if I crash, only had to crash like once or twice. Like if I ever crash or anything, it will take me about 1 to 5 minutes to get back into the game, and that is unacceptable. So they really need to work on this game and optimizing it. And they did compensate people at the time of me recording this video. So they gave us a free 5-star banner that did like it was a banner that had a like maybe 40 pulls and get a 5-star, and then they have an 80 pull banner, and then they gave us a selector because of how messed up some of the stuff has been for this launch. But they really need to work on this stuff. It's still kind of unacceptable. But I know Hoyo was on some magic shit when they made Genshin, and I'm not trying to compare the two because they're completely different games. I hate when they compare two things together, but the way the game is built is very much Genshin. So I have to use Genshin a little bit because it's built like Genshin. How it's monetized and everything. So as for that, when it comes to just combat, is great. Everything in the combat is great. I think the combat is like its strongest suit. It feels good. The characters' abilities are diverse. No one feels like a useless, and the game is very skill based. You know, it's very different from Genshin or anyone who comes from Genshin or any game like that. Genshin's very much based on basically like elementals and mixing elements and stuff and doing damage through elements. This game is all just about being the smoothest motherfucker you can be. It's definitely a completely different kind of gameplay loop, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot. It took a second for me to get into it, but I enjoy it a lot. Overall, I like that. I like that a lot. I don't really have much to say really about the combat because it pretty much explains itself. It's very diverse. It's diverse. It feels good. It feels smooth. The movement feels smooth. Everything feels smooth. Every character has their own player style. So, the biggest thing I wanted to talk about is character design. So, I remember on my pre-release, I said that the character designs were kind of meh. Well, the character designs now are still kind of in some ways, but I think I like them a lot more. And what actually helped me like them a lot more is that I turned the brightness down. So, and I'll show you actually live right now on the settings. So, if you go into the settings and you go to display, I believe right here, basic graphics, and you go to, I'm missing it, I think. Here we go, brightness. This brightness is not the same as it says it is. It says brightness, but it's really like saturation. So look at what happens when I were to turn this up at max. Look at how washed out that is. So if you were to put it where it originally was, go down to, let's go down to here. Where's the brightness? Here it goes. Brightness. If you were to put it down to where it was like around 50%, I believe it was around 50%. It's been a while since. See how it looks. So it looks good, but it's a little washed out still. But if you were to put it close to 0 or almost 0, some people might want it a little bit closer to 0 because it might change things around. Look how deeper the colors are. It's night and day. It's crazy. I don't know why. That's not brightness setting. That's not a brightness setting. That's a saturation setting. I don't understand why why it's named that. But so yeah. So the character designs look a lot more colorful. So like, I mean, I have a lot of more colorful characters on the screen, but even this one, she's black and white. Look how much more colorful and deeper the colors are. So they need to reassess what that setting is, because this helped my gameplay and like in basically exploring the world a lot. Like I love it a lot more now. So but the character designs, they're still kind of meh in some areas. Like there's a lot of black and white, and it's not bad, but it definitely has moments where probably here, if I ever watch the whole stream, I'll probably upload it on my, I think about making a VOD channel, but probably upload on VOD channel or put it on my main channel. But there was a time where I was dealing with one of the characters and I was like, oh, oh, that character, that's a villain? And they're like, and then the character's like, oh no, that's not a villain, she just acts like one. I'm like, then who's the villain chick? And I'm like, wait a minute, they have the same color palette of red, white, and red. I mean, red, white, and red and white, I believe. I think it's just red and white. And I'm like, oh no, did I get the two characters mixed up? And I'm like, wait a second, there's another character that's red and white. I'm like, oh lord. It's the character palettes are definitely very limited for some reason. And maybe there's a story reason for that, but everyone has white hair in their hair a little bit. Like, let me show you the characters I have so far. Like, so I mean, I love her, but she has white hair in her hair. He has white. He's basically Sephiroth. He's the Japanese VA of Sephiroth. I mean, he's the only character that's multicolored. He has red hair. But he has white hair. She has white hair. She has white and black hair. She has black and white hair. She has white hair. She has black and white hair. And then there's a suspicious amount of redheads and pink-haired girls in between. This character right here has the most diverse character design because he's a redhead. She's a redhead. And does she have white in her hair? No, she's just a redhead. She's a redhead. The other characters are coming up as a redhead. The main villains, their color palette is red and white. And guess what their hair color is? Red and white. This is like, oh my lord. It's definitely, they definitely need to diversify that a little bit because this dude's the coolest dude. Jin Yan. Jin Yan is the coolest dude because he's different. The outfit's black, white, black, white, black, white, black. I'm like, this one's blue. Black, white, black, white, red. It's like, geez. But I really like the character designs. It's just the coloring and the diversity between the characters. There's sometimes I get other characters mixed up. Because I think I got what's her name? And I'm just driving my point home. But when I first saw the game, I got I can't say her, Tauchi, I think that's how you say her name. And what's her name? What's the girl's name? And Encore mixed up because I was like, huh, they look very similar, the color scheme and everything. I'm like, I was like, damn it, they're not the same character. Because I was like, dang, Encore is cute. It's like, I'm like, wait, I remember her being a little bit bigger. And then I was like, wait a second, those are two different fucking characters, aren't they? Gosh damn it. I still think Encore is one of the best characters, but it's like, gosh damn it. But other than that, I love the character designs. As much as I bash them, I love them. It's just, I wish they did some small alterations there to differentiate some characters just a little bit when it comes to color. And as for just my general feel of the game, I like it a lot. I like it. I love it. I definitely think there's a lot of improvements to the script. A lot of improvements there's improvements need to be had in this game for sure. Like obvious improvements. It's not just like when people say Genshin needs in-game. Like there's some obvious technicality stuff, how the game flows. Like you're seeing it right now. It's looking good, but it's definitely lagging. Even when I'm streaming it, like I never had this problem with a lot of other open world games. I play Snowbreak. I think it's Snowpoint Break, Containment Branch or something like that. I play that on stream once in a while. I play Genshin. I play Honkai Star Rail. I mean, Nikkei's different. I know Nikkei ain't gonna chug, but it's just this game definitely has issues I've never experienced. And I play other games on stream on PC, and this game definitely has most of the issues more issues than I ever had PC gaming, outside of the game just not working. But yeah, I'm really excited to see where this crew is going, where this game company is going. I hope that everything works out well. I hope they're ethical. I hope everything goes well. They gotcha systems exactly like Genshin's, so I don't really have any much to say. Instead of there being a soft pity, I don't think there's a soft pity. I think it just goes to 80 and stops instead of going to 90 and having a soft pity. So let's let you know that. But other than that, it's pretty much word for bar from Genshin. Other than you can't use premium currency on the weapon banner. It has its own premium currency, but you have guaranteed weapon banner, so it's different. But other than that, I really think if you have a good PC or a good phone, I heard it doesn't really work on Android at the moment, but PC or a good phone, you know, Apple phone, you should get this game, just to try it out. But you know what I'm saying, it's definitely could be a comparative Genshin if they put a little bit more work into it. But yeah, I don't really have much more to say about this game. I really like it. But I really appreciate you guys clicking on this video. You know, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if I turn this into a video. I appreciate it. And I definitely talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.